Carolina. I am a full-time real estate agent here in Orlando, Florida. I specialize in buying, selling, and investing. If you are thinking about relocating into the area, I would love the opportunity to connect with you, so definitely reach out. I will leave all of my information in the description box below. I am here because it's the new year, and one of my goals this year is to be consistent on YouTube. So I get a lot of questions from my Instagram and my Facebook on different aspects of real estate and how I run my business and things like that. And so I want to start putting this type of content out there. And so the first video, I thought it would be super cool to address my number one question, which is, I've been thinking about getting into real estate and I have no idea where to start. What do you think, right? So I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory and then I'm gonna go straight into like the different steps that would be required of you and some like advice that I would give myself if I was a new agent and talking to me. So I have been in real estate for going on 3 years. So 2023 will be my third year as a full-time realtor. Before that, I used to work at Orange Theory Fitness and I loved it. I was there for 3 years. I was a studio manager. I opened up an Orange Theory in the city of DeLand and it was super rewarding. And I just figured out very quickly that not only did I enjoy running and operating a business, I was actually, not to toot my own horn, but I was actually pretty good at it. And so I thought it would be super cool to go into a business, real estate, where I have the ability to create my own business and just run it full time. So after being there for a few years, I kind of got curious about real estate. I have a sister that's a real estate agent in Jacksonville, and my family had always kind of like planted the seed that I should look into it and that it'd be really good at it. And I was kind of like, whatever. I am a very bad student, and so the whole process of getting the license I knew was going to be difficult for me. But finally, I was like, okay, fine, let me look into this. And so the first thing that you need to do if you're thinking about getting into real estate is you need to find an accredited course where you can do your, please forgive me, I think it's 63-hour course so that you can be eligible to take the state exam. So a very popular one is Climber. I'm gonna leave the link for that course in the description. They do online courses and I think they have an in-person option. And you go on there and you learn all this information. And then after I believe it's 63 hours. After the 63 hours, you take the class exam. Once you pass that, you will get a certificate. And then you will have completed the class, right? Then you need to submit your application to the Florida Realtors, forget what it's called. I think it's FREC or the DBPR. You need to submit an application to one of those. And again, I'm gonna leave all the details below. I'm literally just like giving you guys this information from memory, but I will leave detailed steps in the description box below. So you will submit your application to the board for approval, and then also you will need to do your fingerprints. So you will need to go somewhere to get your fingerprints done. The course that I mentioned can run you anywhere between like $300 to $600 if I remember correctly. And then your application, I believe, is free. And then your fingerprints are maybe like $100 or something like that. And then once you've completed all of that and you've been like approved through your application, and you've passed your class exam, you are now eligible to go take the state exam. I believe that is $75 every single time you take it. If you fail the first time, you can continue to take it, I believe, like every single day until you pass. So from there, once you have passed your state exam, congratulations, you are officially a licensed realtor. The next thing that you need to do is you need to become a part of your association. So here in Orlando, it's the ORA Association, Orlando Realtors RA, I don't know what the other two, Orlando Regional Realtors Association, I think is what it is. This is like super transparent. I have no idea what it's called, but it's something like that. And that those initial dues for you to be a part of that can be like anywhere between like $700 to like $1,200. I believe it was like $900 when I started. Depending on the time of year that you get licensed, like that's going to vary on your costs and stuff like that too. So that's why I'm giving you a range. But you are going to come out, you know, close to about $1,000 when everything is like all said and done. Then from there, you are now like a part of like the MLS and stuff like that. The MLS is the multiple listing service, which allows you to have access to like all of the systems that we use as agents. Once you've achieved this part and you are already like a part of the association, you've paid for your dues and all of that, you now need to make the very important decision of figuring out where you are going to hang your license. So when you get a license, you need to be using it under a broker, okay? So big names that will probably ring a bell: Keller Williams, EXP, those big companies, Coldwell Banker, are what we call brokerages. There's tons of them and they're all for different types of people. So I definitely encourage you to really interview around and see what's going to be the best fit for you. As a new agent, you really need to prioritize training. So you want a place that's going to give you classes and things that you can attend, because you are going to have a lot of time in the beginning, because you're not going, most likely you're not going to have like a lot of active clients to be working with, and you also need to learn how to deal with those clients. And so that's where the training is really going to come into play. So you want to prioritize that. And you also personally want to prioritize having access to an actual person when questions do come up once you do have clients. That's something that I did not have at the first brokerage that I was with. It was like an online brokerage, which seemed really cool because obviously everything is going towards online, right? But when you are submitting your first offer and you're writing this like legal binding contract, it's really important, in my opinion, to have an actual person that you can call or text and be like, hey, what are the specifics and where do these things go? So those would be my top two as a brand new licensed agent. If you are interested in my brokerage, I am licensed under Momentum Realty, and we actually have created a brokerage that is called Ascend Realty. It is the sister company of Momentum, and this brokerage is designed for newer agents. And so if you're interested in applying, I'll definitely again leave the link to that below so that you guys can take a look at that. There is an application process. We usually go for people that already have a few transactions under their belt, if I remember correctly. But depending on your application and your interview, I know that sometimes you can get in just depending on how that process goes. But yeah, definitely take your time and interview brokerages and really just do your due diligence and really go based off of facts and what they're offering you. You will also notice as a newly licensed agent that there is this thing called the brokerage split, the commission split, right? And so a brokerage is offering you a set amount of tools, right? Whether that be training, whether that be classes, an office space, marketing material, XYZ, all of the things. And there's of course going to be a cost for that to you. And so let's say you join with a company that gives you an 80-20 split. So what that means is that if you get a $5,000 check, you are going to keep 80% of that. They're going to automatically from the top take 20%. Now, usually there is a cap. And so what that means is like once this company gets $16,000 from you from that 20%, you are now capped, and so you will keep 100%. But besides that, that's something that you should totally look into also when you are getting licensed. But keep in mind, as a newly licensed agent, you're really looking for knowledge and you are looking for training and you are looking for guidance, and usually that's going to come with a higher cost. Okay. Now you have established which brokers you're going to join. And you can pretty much start selling real estate. So now I'm going to go into the part of the video where I kind of give you my advice and I give you a little bit of a rundown of how I started. So at the end of the day, when you become a real estate agent, you are running a business. And if you do not have a business background or you're not familiar with what that looks like, you need to generate leads. Leads are the prospect that you find that you have a potential of making into a client, okay? And so in the beginning, especially if you are doing this full time, let's say you decided you were gonna take a risk, you quit your job, and now you are a full-time realtor and you have no idea what to do. The only thing that you need to be doing, besides maybe listening to a couple of the training calls, is literally like going out and meeting people. Whatever that looks like, whatever you're good at, whether that's calling people, whether that's going to events, whatever that is, you need to do that, and you need to do that like 40 hours a week, because that's the only way that you are going to be able to find people. Clients, you find people, you make a good connection, they like you, and then so be it, they need to buy or sell a house, and then there you go, you have your first client. The way that I did this is, in the very beginning, the only thing that I did like the first week is I messaged like everybody on Facebook. I was like, hey, my name is Carolina, I'm now a full-time real estate agent, and I actually got my first client that way. So you want to message everybody on social media. If you feel comfortable calling people, you absolutely should. If you have like a lot of friends, text every single person under the sun and let them know that you're an agent. After I did the message on Facebook, I didn't really want to message people again in like 3 months and be like, hi, by the way, I am still a real estate agent, which if you did that, like totally up to you. There's nothing wrong with that. There are many ways to run this business. It's just finding what works best for you. But I didn't want to do that again. And so what I did is I started doing open houses every weekend, and I would door knock for the open house every weekend. And so what that looks like is I would schedule an open house. I would go into the MLS and I would call realtors that had listings available. And I'd be like, hey, I'm a new agent. Can I host an open house at your listing? You're probably gonna have to call a few people to finally get a yes, but once you do, congratulations, it's like the greatest news ever. So then you are going to now promote this open house and tell everybody in the neighborhood that there's an open house going on. And the way that I did that was by door knocking. So I made flyers on canva.com, which if you're thinking about getting into real estate, you 100% need to get familiar with Canva, because that is where you can design a lot of your marketing material. So got on Canva, designed an open house. I put the time of the open house. I added a couple pictures and my information at the bottom. And I would print out like 50 to 100. And honestly, looking back on it now, I should have absolutely done like 200 flyers instead, because think about it. If you schedule the open house for a Saturday, you now have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to go door knocking. So really, and not only that, but if you compare it to a regular work week, like what are you doing for those 40 hours? You know? So you should totally like take each one of those days and, I don't know, knock on 50 doors and leave the flyer there. And that is how you're gonna start getting traction into your open house, right? So design the Canva, the flyers on Canva, print them out, hit the streets, and go for it. Mind you, I live in Florida, like I said. It was very hot. It was very hot. Buy yourself a little fan from Amazon that you can put around your neck. Bring some water, bring some comfortable shoes, and it's going to suck. But I can tell you that this is how I built my business. And I would say that I'm very proud of where my business is at today. So, and I can also say I no longer door knock, which is a huge plus. So that is what I did literally for the first 9 months. Or actually for the first like 13 to 14 months, because I got licensed in August of 2020, and then I pretty much followed that business model until the end of 2021. Yeah, so I did a full year of like open houses, door knocking, open houses, door knocking, open houses, door knocking. I would say I was pretty consistent with it. Were there weekends where I didn't do it? Absolutely. Do I regret that I hadn't done that? For sure. But in the very beginning, I got a lot of business from going door to door. And guys, it's literally as easy as knocking on someone's door, giving them a flyer, and then them being like, actually, I've been thinking about selling my house. What do you think this could go for? And like literally, I can't tell you how many of those conversations I had in the first year that I was doing that converted. They listed their property with me. They never, not once, like freaked out about the fact that I was a new agent. You're licensed and you have a broker that is, you know, overseeing what you're doing. So don't let anybody tell you that, you know, you can't go knocking on someone's door because you don't have experience. That's one thing. Another thing that I'm going to add, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, there's a lot of competition. Oh, the market is doing X, Y, and Z. Oh, like you're really going to leave your salary. You need to make sure that this is a very personal decision and that you know in your heart that you want to do it and you want to give it your all, because it needs that. It needs, you know, to be your number one priority if you want to make this a business and if you want to make this like your full-time career, which is what I wanted. Now, there's nothing wrong with part-time agents. This is just my journey, and I am a full-time real estate agent. So those are the people that I'm speaking to, because that's the experience that I have lived myself. So yeah, be sure that you have made the decision for yourself and that nobody's going to tell you that you can't do it, and that you are going to be willing to put yourself out there, because it's going to be very uncomfortable. I know that, you know, if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Facebook, you probably think that I'm an extroverted person and that, you know, it's so easy, but going door to door is very uncomfortable. To this day, it's very uncomfortable, but just remember that at the end of the day, it's just another person on the other side of that door. And trust me, if they don't want to talk to you, you will know, and then you can leave. Like it doesn't matter. Don't be afraid of rejection. That would be my biggest thing. If you're planning on doing anything that I'm saying in this video, don't be afraid of rejection, because it will come, especially if you are door knocking. So that's what I did the first year. My first full year, I'm not going to count the end of 2020 because I only had one sale that year, and that was the one from Facebook, from all the Facebook messages. But I will share my first full year, which was 2021. I sold 10 houses, which I believe was around 3 million in real estate. And I was very happy with that. I was able to cover all of my expenses, like my living expenses at the time. I was paying rent, my car, you know, all of that. I was able to 100% live off of my real estate business, which was more than I could ever ask for. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, you know, I will also add to like my advice. There is a lot of information out there. There is going to be a program for everything under the sun. There is going to be a system for everything under the sun. There is going to be a training class for everything under the sun. What I really encourage you to do is really figure out what you are really good at and what you can actually stick to, okay? Figure those two things out. Pick a handful of things that you want to do, whether it's open houses, door knocking, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Let's say you want to do those 5. And those are pretty much like the things that I do, actually. And then just stick to them and work your butt off with those 5 things. And you can actually like even narrow it down to 3 things that you're really good at, and just really work very hard on those. And I 100% believe that if you want to succeed in this, you absolutely can. At the end of the day, it's you versus you. This is not a business where somebody's going to like hold your hand and force you to do anything. You're not really going to have like an actual boss monitoring what you're doing or not doing. If you don't make a sale, they don't really care. So you're really on your own here. You really need to have a self-starter personality. You really need to be able to want to figure things out on your own. I wish somebody would have told me that in the beginning, because then like I would have probably like started doing stuff faster instead of like trying to see like, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, what do you think about this? Like, just figure it out, do it yourself. Nobody cares. You need to just do it. So that's all I got for today's video. I know that this was like super like, how do you say it? Super like unedited. Like I just kind of went with the flow and kind of talked to you with like how my ideas came about. I'm really excited to build this YouTube channel and get better at the whole YouTube thing. I can't wait to show you guys my like legitimate backdrop, because this is just not it. I'm gonna get like a microphone and a whole thing, but I really hope that you guys will subscribe to my YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more content. I'm definitely going to be doing one video a week. And if you have any content ideas or any videos that you'd like for me to make, let me know in the comments. And other than that, I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm sure at some point we'll have like a really great like ending quote or something that I'll say every single time, but today ain't the day. But I'll see y'all soon. And again, if you're thinking about buying or selling, reach out to your homegirl. Bye guys.